Good evening, everybody. Good evening. So, while I check and make sure that I am everywhere that I want to be, I am tired, you guys. I had a very eventful weekend. My parents are here visiting from Chicago. It was my birthday yesterday, so that's officially my new year. However, I know the rest of the world is going to start celebrating on the 1st. And so what I started doing maybe a couple years ago was do I even want the oh yeah, because I can't see my notes. Was doing a 12 house spread for the upcoming year. So like now it'll be for 2026. And I go through all of your 12 houses and do tarot cards for those 12 houses so you can know what to expect for the year. Because typically we just focus on, like, our sun signs or um, just pulling cards or just getting messages for the year. But I feel like the houses are very overlooked and they are very important. They play an integral role in how we show up, different areas in our lives, et cetera, et cetera. So, as I've been studying, and I'm always studying, I'm always going deeper and deeper, wanting to know more. I decided that we should talk about it. We should have a conversation about it. A lot of my clients get their reports and they're starting to get them now because I've gone live with that. But it's like, how much do we really know about it? So I just wanted to have, a quick little chat. We're going to go over all 12 houses, three at a time. So every Sunday night, we'll go over another set of three. And then when I'm done here on the live, if you want to go deeper and ask questions, meet me over in the Modern Day Spiritualist over on the school platform. And then we can really get into some more things a little bit deeper over there. Okay. Okay. So we are going to start because it's late. I'm ready to settle down. Like, I want to get my shower in, do my beauty routine for the night, and just kind of settle myself, right? Okay, so we're going to jump into the first house. Make sure that you guys have your notes because I have mine. And let's get into this thing. So, the first house is about self identity, your personal aura. That's what it governs. And it represents, your personality, your natural instincts, basically your vibe. That's what the first house is. That's what it governs. So, whatever your whatever sign is in that house is going to give you an extra layer of understanding how you actually show up. Because, like I said earlier, we only kind of dive into the sun sign, maybe we get into the moon or the rising, but we kind of ignore these houses, right? Where these signs actually live and thrive. So sometimes, you can read something and it'll be like your horoscope or whatever, or just reading about your sun sign, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of sort of me, but I don't know, not fully me, right? But then when you read someone else's, it's like, now that's really how I show up. That's because we have different signs inside of our houses, right? And then for me, I take it a step further and I pull and get messages from the cards for each house for the next year. So when we talk about your first house, we're gonna talk about what your vibe is when you meet people. That's what they're gonna get. That's the version of you that they're gonna get. That's how they're going to describe you, right? So it's how they first perceive you. Oh, first impressions, basically. That's the first house. It also covers your physical appearance, your style of expression. So, how you choose to wear your hair, the things that you're naturally drawn to when it comes to your style, that's basically influenced by this first house. Okay. Let me go over and see what's happening on YouTube. Hold on. Hold, please. Mm. So anyway, the first house also is going to govern your approach in life. So how you approach things, like your signature, your default energy. Are you an optimistic person? Are you pessimistic? Do you have a lot of energy when you think about life and you start thinking about your what you're going to do in your life, or are you kind of low energy? All of that is governed by the first house. So this shows up as your identity shifts, when you want to change your appearance, like when you want to drastically do something different, like to your hair, or start a whole different style. Okay, so when I turned 30 and when I turned 40, I had this strong urge, not 30, 35, 35 and 40. I had this strong urge to really want to rebrand myself, rebrand my business, just a whole total makeover, right? And that's all governed by our first house. That's how it shows up. When you have that need, like I said, that you want to start over, that's what's governing that. Now, so it's activated when you have that sudden spark, when you have that certain urge or like that pull, like, okay, I have to do this. And sometimes you cannot even explain it. Like, I've had so many times where, especially in my home, I just want to get new furniture. And I could have just got, like, it could be like a year old. And I'm like, no, I need new furniture. I need it now. Or I want to completely rearrange an entire room. Like a couple months ago, I rearranged my entire office, and my energy was so like, oh my God, I have to do this. I have to do this right now. Right. And I'm moving all this heavy stuff. I didn't want to wait for any help. I didn't want my son to help me. I didn't want anybody to help me because I wanted it done like right then. So that was that first house, like pulling on me and tugging on me to like do it now. Right. When you call to show up differently is when it gets activated. Um, and it's like you are rewriting your storyline. You are rewriting your life narrative. And so that's when it gets activated. And so this is the house of becoming. And y'all gonna hear me talk about that a lot because for 2026, my Beauty First Lounge group, that's going to be our theme, the year of becoming, beauty and becoming. So, this is the house that's going to dictate and really have the heaviest influence on how you're becoming and that urge to want to become. I won't say something different because whatever is inside was already planted there. So it's not to become something different, but to just emerge and evolve into those other versions that's inside of you that's waiting to come out. And that might need to come up, right? So if this house is being lit up, you can expect some really, really big reinventions. um, this is the house where you want to ask yourself, who am I now versus who I am told to be? And that gets real deep because a lot of us, especially us ladies, we have been programmed, we have been raised, we have been um, brainwashed to be a certain way. We've been told that you need to sit like this and act like this, speak like this, dress like that. Don't do that. Think this, don't think that, believe this. And this is where you begin to say, when your first house get activated, this is when you begin to say, who am I really? Like, who am I right now? And is this lining up with who I was told to be? Because I guarantee you that it's not. Because who we're told to be is never who we really are. And so at some point, When these planets are moving and shifting and doing all the things, at some point we are going to be like, nah, that's not what I want. That's not really who I am. I know that's how I always showed up, but that's not who I am. And so now the shift is starting to happen in that first house. Okay, let's move into the second house. And this house is all about your money, your self worth, and your values. Okay. So it represents your income, your earning potential. We all have that potential. We all have our caps, our ceilings, our heavens, whatever, right? We all have a certain level that we have the potential to earn it. We may not always be there, but we have it. And then it's about how you spend, how you save, how you manage money. So you really, if you're struggling with money and managing your money, budgets, all of that, take a look into your second house and see what's going on. What planets are there? What signs are showing up there? What's going on right now in the atmosphere that's affecting this area for you? Um, This also governs your self worth, your confidence, and your sense of deserving is connected to the second house. A lot of us, I found, we really have an issue of self worth and feeling like we really don't deserve. That's why we don't have more. And we don't always are allowed the tools, one, to discover it, and then two, to really start to unpack that and break that down and rewire our subconscious so that we can know on a deeper level, so we can feel and know and believe that we are worthy and that we do deserve whatever it is. What was that Mama D song? I deserve. Yeah. Second house. So this is also about your material possessions and what you value. So it shows up with money lessons. It shows up in those budgeting shifts. It can show up with upgrades in your lifestyle. It can show up with self esteem breakthroughs. So when you start seeing these things happening, then that's when you know your second house is being activated, it's being lit up. There's some activity happening there. And this is the house that when I do the 12 house reading for the upcoming year, that you really want to pay attention to the advices given if money is one of your areas that you are working on. And so when it's fully activated, you'll start to get new job opportunities. You're going to have that desire to make more money. You're going to start decluttering and upgrading your environment. So that's when you know, like, okay, my second house is activated or too activated. Start doing those things, especially that decluttering. Decluttering stops the flow of a lot of things, right? That's a whole nother other video. But what you want to remember here in the second house is that money mirrors how you value yourself. So that takes us back to the first house, right? So we want to get these houses in order because they also affect the next house. Each house affects the next house and the next house, so on and so forth. So this house is going to ask you, do you truly believe that you deserve abundance? We want to say our affirmations. Oh, I'm abundant. I'm abundant. I'm abundant. I'm abundant. I live in abundance. Abundance comes to me. Abundance flows to me. Da, da. But are you really? Do you really believe that? Or are you just saying something? It's going to show up. And the second house is going to show you what it really looks like. All right, let's move on to the third house, which is in communication, mindset, and environment. So, what it represents is your voice, how you communicate, and how you learn. Thought patterns, how you process things mentally, what that process looks like for you. Your siblings, if you have them, relatives, neighbors, all that's governed in the third house. Your local travel and your daily environment. So, your home, your neighborhood, your workspace, those are the things that's there. So it shows up by you wanting to write or do a podcast or speak, activating that throat chakra. When you want to take short trips, a quick staycation, that's all in within your third house realm. It shows up in when you change how you think or how you express yourself. If you have issues or harmony with your siblings. Okay, why can't I talk? Now, it gets activated when you are constantly having new ideas nonstop. The ideas are just coming, 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 coming. That means your third house is lit up, it's activated, it's ready to go. And you want to capitalize on those new ideas. Write them down, keep a journal. Don't just have them coming and you not do anything about it, or you not keep track of it, because we can't do all of them at one time. But you definitely want to make note, because your $1 million idea is probably going to be coming during that cycle of when the ideas are coming nonstop. If you have a desire to take a class, any kind of class, is activated when you are becoming more social or more talkative. So that's when it's getting activated. This house ultimately teaches you how to use your voice with power. Because some of us, we just talking about, we ain't saying nothing. Who said that? I can't remember right now. But somebody said that in the song, right? You talking, but you ain't saying nothing. And that's a lot of us. But the third house is going to teach you how to use your voice, how to say something, how to use your voice with power and authority, right? So you want to ask yourself with this house, how am I being called to communicate differently? It's not enough for you to be able to speak and someone hear you. It doesn't matter if they don't understand you. That's not communication. So we have to learn how to communicate differently if it's not being effective. Or if you're just evolving, and let's say before you used to um, talk real spicy, real loud, real rah rah, you but now, because you're at a different space in life and it's activated, now you feel like I need to communicate differently. I can still get my point across in a different way, right? Okay, so that's the third house. So that's house 1 through 3. And again, meet me over in House of Zokai, the modern day spiritualist, when you um if you want to go a little bit deeper. Okay, I'm hopping off here and I'm logging on to there. I think you can find the link in the bio, and I'll try to put it in the comments as well for you to meet me over there. Okay, bye bye.